Get ready for Solomon's
Porch Podcast.
Hey, giving the glory to God. Yeah, you're hanging with Jason and Shawn. Get ready for Solomon's
Porch.
Don't know if you heard. If you're anywhere on the planet,
Wait a minute. Are you talking to me or are you talking to them?
everybody.
All right.
Everybody.
Because you must be talking to me. I don't see anybody
I'm
else.
talking to you.
Are you
I'm
talking to me?
YouTube. I'm talking to podcast listeners.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking
You
to
must
you.
be talking to me. I don't
Spider-Man
see anybody
is
else.
back in the MCU. So this is probably...
Wait a minute. He left the MCU?
He did. For like...
Why did he leave the MCU?
Because financials.
Oh, well, I don't blame him.
So let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
There was a issue where Disney and Marvel Studios or Disney and Sony had an agreement, a sharing agreement for Spider-Man for live action movies. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of details that go into that whole entire ordeal, but essentially that's whenever he came into Captain America: Civil War. And then he was able to make Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, and then Far From Home. After Far From Home hit $1 billion in the box office, Disney came to the table early. There were 2 more movies on the contract. Mm-hmm. So a third Spider-Man film, which they set up for, and then whatever big team-up film, which would probably be the next Avengers film that happens later down the road. Mm-hmm. And then they would come back to the table, renegotiate.
Okay.
And so, but what happened was Disney came back to the table early and wanted to say, okay, we want to finance part of the movie and then reap more benefits on the back end. What the numbers were, we don't know for sure because public doesn't have, there's not always public access to the actual numbers necessarily.
Yeah. They're not going to divulge that stuff.
There's a lot of guesstimates, but essentially Sony said no because Sony was financing the full cost of the Spider-Man solo films.
Oh wow!
And I don't think anybody knows that. I didn't know that to begin with. I thought that Disney was doing it, that Disney was paying everything, and Sony was just saying, "Yeah, we own him, so y'all pay for everything, and we'll let you use them, and we get the money."
That would make more sense to me.
But Sony was actually putting all the money out for the film.
Wow.
So Homecoming, Far From Home, all was Sony's pocketbook.
Okay.
Disney only recouped a little bit on like opening day.
Okay.
That was it. Plus merchandise, stuff like that. They had the merchandise deals. And so they come to the table, they said, look, we want to finance part of the movies to be able to get more on the back end. And Sony said no. And so they shut down. No more Spidey in the MCU. Everybody freaked out. Nobody really knew the full facts. I didn't know the full facts, and which that's purposely why the article I wrote was very like, it was very non-professional, just because I didn't want to go in there spitting hard facts that weren't hard facts.
Okay.
So that's the reason why my article looked like that.
Okay.
And but now, surprisingly, out of the blue, we get news a couple of days ago that, hey, the MCU has Spidey back. And so essentially what's happening now is Marvel is going to be, now again, we're kind of guesstimating, but we've been told by somebody that Marvel Studios or Disney is going to be paying 25% of all the Venom-verse films. So Venom 2, in any movie, Morbius, anything that comes out of the Venomverse, the Sony's Spider-Man movies, all of their movies, Disney's going to finance 25%.
Wow.
However, Spider-Man has access to the MCU again. Only Spider-Man, though. But what Kevin Feige said was Spider-Man is the only superhero that has the power to jump across universes. So Spidey can be in the MCU and Venom 2, more whatever else they want to do.
Whatever they want, yeah.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Like any of that stuff, Tom Holland's Spider-Man character can do now. So this is like what everybody was wanting, essentially.
Well, mostly, yeah. I mean, ultimately, if we could get even Venom into MCU, that would be great.
That'd be great.
But I would say this is probably the best compromise yet.
It really is.
And the most beneficial for fans.
It is. And I think for both, I mean, because now, because Disney's paying the money for the other films. Now, I don't know if they're going to be part of the creation process. I don't know Kevin Feige. They said that Kevin Feige had been kind of backdoor giving advice to Venom and different stuff, and but none of that has been.
If they have access to that, if Kevin Feige's willing to do that, I mean, tap that. Just go ahead and say, look. Yes, please help us, because obviously you guys got a good equation going on here, because the mathematics of what you guys are doing just totally is phenomenal.
Right.
And it's paying out huge dividends. We all want that.
Exactly. So I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited. So, let us know what you think. What are you looking for Spider-Man? Now, a lot of people think this is just a way for Marvel to pull Spidey out of the MCU. It's like, hey, let's do this because I think it's maybe 4 years is what the contract's for. So whatever gets created in the next 4 years from Sony, Disney's going to put their pocketbook into. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what's been told. And they're saying that, because Spider-Man 3 is set to drop July 16th of 2021, something like 2 years, and which is a lot sooner than what I thought, actually.
Yeah.
And then whatever other film he's going to be a part of in the next team-up film that he'll be, somewhat involved in. And then, they're going to renegotiate. And at that point, it's like, okay, what Marvel needs to do is what they didn't do. And they need to leave some type of a gap where it's like, okay, if for some reason, God forbid, Spider-Man gets pulled back out,
right,
we won't miss a beat.
Yeah.
So now, and speaking on behalf of Disney, Spider-Man wasn't planned to be in any of the Phase 4 things, except now, actually, Spider-Man 3 will be in Phase 4.
Right.
It's going to drop around the same time the What If series does. And but in general, that he wasn't going to be in like Doctor Strange or any of the other things that were happening. So it wasn't like they were going to miss him immediately, but they would have, especially in the next big team-up film.
Right.
So, we definitely want to get your thoughts. Let us know how excited you are, or if you think they should have just left it alone. Because there's been a few people like, yeah, I would have been okay if he would have stayed out, but I think a lot of us MCU fans are really excited. So, Spidey, welcome back home.